A very good afternoon to you and welcome to Us From. In this program, we look at issues that are rising in the arts industry. And today is not different. We're looking at something quite interesting, and we're looking at the quality of music in Zimbabwe. Is it good? Is it bad? We'll get to find out. I have two of the best producers in Zimbabwe, Chidavaenzi as well as Clive Mukundu. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, and good afternoon, listeners.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you two both in studio so that we can look at this issue of the quality of music in Zimbabwe, because you're directly involved in producing some of the music that we're listening to on our radio stations, on our phones, the iPads and all of that. But first of all, I want to get to know you two better, how you chose your path, and then we'll get to talk about the music industry in Zimbabwe. Now, starting with you, Mr. Clive Mukundu, tell us about you. How did you choose to be a music producer? Was it fate? Was it talent? Was it... You can tell us.
Yeah, it's a mixture of all the elements that you mentioned. If you check the history of most of the top music producers in the world, they start in the field, either in a band or playing somewhere, and then later on you discover that you've got an extra music talent which is within music actually. So that's exactly what happened to me. I started as a session musician, playing for a lot of musicians in the country, and then later on I started discovering that I had an extra talent which is within the music field, that is production. So I started by buying a computer, and then getting lessons from fellow producers, and one of my teachers, Macdee.
Wow, Macdee, the teacher.
Yeah, so I was learning from different producers, and that's the same way a lot of producers in the world learn. Of course, some go to colleges, but most producers, 99.9%, they learn on the job, and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. And Macdee, do you agree with him? How did you also choose your career path? Was it probably when I grew up I want to be a music producer, or you wanted to be something else? A teacher, a doctor?
Well, for me, yeah, way back when I was in primary school, I always said I wanted to be a doctor. Uh-huh. But then when I started realizing my musical abilities, I was a keyboard player, like what Mr. Mona said. But when I was so young, not in a small kids band, like we were all grade 5, grade 4, grade 6, those ages, and I was playing the keyboard, and we would go to churches and minister and sing and whatever. And then we went to a studio, and I saw Kelly Rusige seated on this huge desk, and immediately I knew what I wanted to be, because I knew I didn't want to be just a keyboard player or just the guy singing on the mic, because I was very shy even as a kid, and even growing up I was just shy. But when I saw Kelly Rusige, I told myself, this is what I want to do. I later on went to Msengezi High School. It was a very musical school. We were taken to studio again, recorded an album, and I was seeing these guys, the producers at High Density and whatever, and I kept telling myself, this is what I want to do. So I started experimenting, getting softwares, making a lot of mistakes, trying to find out how do you turn being a keyboard player into a producer, and also getting in touch with other producers. I remember getting in touch with Take 5, Flash, the guys from Movip. They were showing me a lot of things as I was growing up, until I managed to stand my own ground.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm getting from what you're saying right now is that you sort of learnt your way through when you're in high school, primary, you were introduced to music. Do you think that it's important for children of today to have that sort of exposure to music, for them to be able to choose their career path?
It's really important, because what we're saying is, when you notice the abilities or the potential in a child, it is necessary to to nurture that talent or that potential that is in the child, so that when they grow, they don't have to start, they're grown-ups now trying to figure out things that they were supposed to get to know when they were way younger. I regret not knowing certain musical skills earlier. Like when it comes to keyboard playing and stuff, you find that I can play certain keys, I can't play all keys. This is something that I should have learned way back when I was younger than when I started. But I took it for granted. And probably my parents, parents are always about school. But we need to get into a season where, even in schools, I like what certain schools in Zimbabwe do. They actually focus either on sports or music or whatever. If people can do that, but also put pressure on the kid that as much as you're nurturing your talent, you also need to balance it with school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Clive, you've become one of the well-renowned music producers in Zimbabwe. You speak to a lot of artists. They say, I'm being produced by Clive Mukundu. Clive Mukundu is doing my music. Now, what does it take? How's it been being a producer? Tell us about your journey so far since you started.
I started producing commercially 2007. It was not easy at first because I still had to learn my ropes. So for the first 2 years, I didn't even do my mixing. I would call experienced guys to do the mixing and everything else. But speaking of production, I had started producing around 2001. Like I said, I started as a session musician. I think I had recorded more than 200-300 albums. Then later on, I remember I was playing with Elias Msakwa in 2001. That's when he noticed that I had some extra skills. And then he asked me to produce for his company, Ngabongwe Records. So I started producing first of all as under Ngabongwe Records. But later on I discovered that it's easier and more effective to be a producer when you are an engineer as well. Because that time I was just a producer who just tell the engineer, do this, do that. But I noticed that it's more effective when you are the engineer. So like what Macdee says, he saw Kelly Rusike. The first person I worked with that really inspired me to go into production was Andrew Bed. He was the producer for Hear the Word. So he used to call me a lot to do guitars for Celebration Choir. Most of my when I told Farah, I'm the one who was doing the guitars. So I would watch how he was doing his production. So I was inspired by that. That's why I decided to venture into production.
Mm-hmm. Now, is it rewarding to be a music producer? Macdee, you've been in the industry for quite a while. How many years now?
It's been 11 years.
Now, and in terms of money, in terms of you as a person, your personal growth, do you think that it is rewarding to be a music producer?
I think if you play your cards right and understand that in as much as it's your passion, it's also a business, it will be rewarding, just like any other industry. I have gone through a lot and I have learned the hard way that it can actually pay, but it takes certain decisions and it takes a certain stand. Like what I mean, when we started, it was all passion. I remember working with fellow musicians, people that aim to be bigger, when they were less famous. We were all saying we have a vision, we're going to go there, and then it's working out well, but we're working as friends, right? Mm-hmm. And then we start releasing stuff and we do beautiful stuff as friends, no contracts, nothing, and then things start being popular. Big songs coming up, mangoma songs that if I tell you, you'll be like, oh yeah, this one. But then after those songs become so popular and these guys become popular, I realized that there was a trend that artists were becoming more productive than me. They come to studio, they record, they become famous because these are the people that go around, these are the people that people will be looking for and saying, oh, we need you to perform here, we'll pay you this much, you need you to perform, they will pay you this much. And then they call you now, they say, be a session musician, I'll pay you a small fee which is less than 10% of what they are getting as artists. So they go to a point where they bought cars, they bought stands, they developed their personal lives, and we were still doing mabasco, kombi, you know, and we were still working with substandard equipment. We could not even afford to buy better studio equipment. Then I looked at my life and I said, this is not right. When you look internationally, when an artist has made so much, you find that the producer has made probably more, right? Because these are the creative elements of the artist, right? So I started making amendments. First thing I did was, if we are going to work, let's have contracts. Because you go to the artist and you say, but you are making money, I need a percentage of it. Then they say, no, you know, we never agreed that. Where is it written? And we broke a lot of friendships with that. Then from that moment I decided that we have to separate friendship and business. If I deny you a certain offer for my services, do not think that I'm no longer your friend. I'm just protecting my business interests. I'm protecting my family's benefits as well. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. No. Now, how do you charge an artist when they come to studio, they want to record, they want you to produce the music? What's the process like?
The normal procedure, which is done internationally, is there's a producer's fee, there's an engineer's fee, and then on studio time it depends. Some producers they charge per song, some charge per hour, I charge per hour. So those are the three main basics. And then we come to the issue where if you compose the music or if you co-compose the music, you have to decide who owns what percentage, and that's where the issue of split sheets comes in. You have to sign a split sheet and agree with but this song, and I contributed this, or I contributed the main chorus, you contributed the verses, so you own 30%, we own 40%. That's how we are supposed to make money. But as you know, our economy is at our lowest at the moment. So in terms, some of these charges we end up skipping because marriage planning passing, like especially with the issue of piracy, where piracy is getting all the money and all the royalties are going to the pirates. So you can't even get your producer royalties, because under normal circumstances worldwide, a producer is supposed to get a percentage. Usually it's 3% of all the sales, the music, or more depending with the agreement. But because of materials, you know, we are not getting that money. But that's how you charge as a music producer.
Now, Macdee, you work with a lot of artists. How do you choose that I'm going to work with this artist, or I'm not interested in working with this artist? What determines who you work with? Is it the money? Is it the talent? Is it the name? What is it?
Well, production for me is in different phases or in different categories. We have production for artists that I know that are renowned, that I have a concept. This concept needs this kind of singer, or this person, this specific person, or this concept needs this person featuring this person. I identify those people, bring them over, and then we work knowing exactly what's going to come out. And that at times has no monetary implications. It's not really money motivated. That's where the issue of split sheets and contracts come in. And then we have another type of recording where a person just walks in and then they want to record. Then first of all, what we do is they submit what we call a demonstration of what they want or what they intend to record. These days they can just send an audio per WhatsApp, or they can just go and do a demo tape. We call them a demo tape. It's not a demo CD or whatever. at a smaller studio, and then they bring it over. I hear the concept. Then it's up to me to judge and say, if I work on this concept, it's going to work out well before I even charge you. There are times where, like, personally, I charge per song. So if I see that, well, at least I charge this much, this song is going to require more, I'll put my normal charge plus when I write the quotation, I'll add that this song might need a guitar from, say, Mukundu. This might need congas from Rumbi. This might need a live drum from, let's say, maybe Bobby or Carlton Parutsa. But these charges, you pay them. They have to pay them. So if they agree, then we move on. Then you also, whilst listening, you can tell this is not working. This cannot work. In as much as I need the money, we'll be like, please go and correct this, or please change the song completely. Bring another concept that is worth recording, and then we record.
Well, I just thought, someone just comes in the studio and say, let's record, let's do this, and then you say take, and then there you go.
No, it doesn't work that way.
All right, well, you're still with us here on Art Forum as we're looking at the music in Zimbabwe, and I have two people who are joining me. That's Macdee Chidavaenzi as well as Clive Mukundu to look at the music that is being produced in Zimbabwe. We'll look at it more after the break. Welcome back to Art Forum. My name is Imelda Gamba. Still joining me in the studio is Macdee Chidavaenzi as well as Clive Mukundu. Thank you so much for joining us once again, gentlemen.
It's a pleasure.
Now, let's look at your views on the music industry in Zimbabwe and where you think we are going as a country in terms of music. Starting with you, Mr. Clive Mukundu.
I think we've come to a stage where, like all the other countries, like United States, States, in South Africa, where you have a lot of studios, which is a good thing because it brings in competition, and competition usually brings out good results. But there's only one thing that is drawing us back. I mentioned it earlier, the issue of piracy. Of course, people think the musicians were being crybabies, always complain about piracy, but people don't know the depth problem yakakonzeroswa nepiracy. Because at the moment, there's an issue here, what is known as, you call it what, artistic control. Artistic control is whereby the one who is artistic control is the one who decides if the project is it good enough. Are you supposed to add this or that? So usually what happens is companies, record companies, they sign an artist and record the artist for free. Since you've recorded the artist for free, you've got full control of everything, and then according to the contract, the record company is full artistic control. So even all those artists who Beyonce, they don't have artistic control. Artistic control remains with the company, and then they give the same powers to the producers or sign. So what happens is, if the artist brings a bad song to the studio, the record company but no, we are not going to record this because and then they are the ones who decide within yapera county aisat. Saka due to pirates manje, record companies, they cannot record artists for free anymore. It's now a cash system whereby the artist Anemari is the one who pays him, and Pachona to Anemari and so as a result, the artists now have artistic control. I'm sure if you check Kumashuroko, there are a number of very big artists who have recorded projects that have been substandard. And you find it funny enough, some of the very new artists are the ones who are recording very good material. Why is it like that? It's because those young artists who are one in the studios, like what Macdee was saying with him, we screen them. I also do the same. Don't know if a sweet, you have to change this and that, and then you wake Mohammed is a good product. But can I usually are a big artist manager and in a studio it's his own thing. He's the one who decides what's good and what's bad. I won't mention names, but there are in a few very big artists who recorded very substandard material, especially the previous year. So the but you find it in some of the young artists music which is far much better than the big artists. And the issue comes back to artistic control. You have a artistic control, it goes back to myself. So the issue always goes back to the issue here, pirates.
Now, talking about this issue of artistic control, which I think is probably he who plays the piper detects the tune. Now, Macdee, do you think that is important, or we'll get to a point where you as producers, you have the artistic control, or is it a better option than having the artist having to control his own music and having a say? Because you're looking at, you spoke about countries like the US where the artist just gets into the studio, he's signed under a label. Do we have chances of us getting there as Zimbabweans?
We can. We actually, one thing that I've always viewed and thought about concerning this country and our music is that we are where we are, but it's not just our industry, it's the general industry. All the industries in Zimbabwe are facing hard times because of our economic situation. But one thing that we are certain of is the Zimbabwe will not remain like this. It's going to become better. I'm sure we all know that we are about to get into the digitalization phase. These are like the first signs of things getting better. We're getting there. So right now, what we're facing is a circumstantial situation where if an artist pays, they get artistic control. If the studio pays or records or takes or funds the project, they get artistic control. Probably right now we could say it's the best way to go, because at the end of the day, if we go to the artists and say we are controlling everything, and then we don't give them anything, we're giving them a raw deal. If they come to me and then they pay me, and then I deprive them of their control, it's like I'm ripping them off. So currently we are forced to work under those circumstances. But given that things get better, the best way to go would be to actually ensure that the artist is the artist, and the record label controls the business, because the business is run by the media companies, by the record labels.
Now, who can we say is in charge, or who should we blame for the bad music that we're seeing these days? Should we blame it on auto-tune? Should we blame it on the current economic situation? Should we blame it on the producers? Who is to blame? Because you're here sitting with me as the producers, and obviously you're going to say, no, we are clean. So who should we blame?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Every country you go to, apana nyika zina shasha dzayo, apana nyika zina madofa ayo. Believe me, even kwa America madofa iwa azere, even South Africa azere. So it's up to you, my radio stations, to screen which is good music and which is not good music to offer to your listeners, because that's the situation worldwide. Even in the US, there are certain artists. Before I went there, I used to think everything is perfect in the Western world, until I started touring and going to those countries. The only difference is vasingagone, they are screened. Unoridza umba kwavo, uridzira family yake party vachifadzana ikoko, then vari kugona ndivanoridzwa paradio. So we can't blame the producers, because at the moment we are at a situation whereby anybody can afford studio equipment, because as it is now, Mamiraite technology, you don't need very expensive equipment to run a studio, any quality. What certain quality, don't blame it on the equipment, blame it on the person, because same software which in New York is the same software which is Matapi. So it's up to the producers who are working and the artists. So it depends on the artists. Can I go isusu wamuti kamuramba Macdee akati asina murekodi ndikati nsoda murekodi, he still goes somewhere to record. So you cannot stop them, but it's up to the radio stations now to screen Marara Moras.
All right, so unfortunately we've run out of time, but Macdee, lastly, what lessons can we draw as Zimbabweans from other countries who are doing well musically, like Nigeria, for one, and South Africa and other countries, so that we become better in terms of our music and the quality that we churn out?
We're not bad.
We're not bad. I'm not saying we're bad, but I'm saying some of the music is questionable.
Okay. I think personally, there are a lot of issues that we can discuss about, but in the interest of time, in short, all I can say is if we all work together with one goal of actually taking our music to the highest place, taking our music to the top, taking our music to become known as the best in the world, we can actually get there. The problem is we're constantly trampling upon each other and we're not working as one. It's as if we are fighting. At times there are situations where you feel like radio stations are fighting against maybe producers, or producers are fighting against artists, or artists are fighting against radio stations. I've heard situations where artists complain that DJs don't play our music, they only play too cool, the kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, when we get to a place of dialogue and working as one, we'll get there.
Well, thank you so much, McDonald Chidavaenzi, and to you, Clive Mukundu, for coming through to our studio. It's been an awesome, time, getting to know you as musicians, as producers, and also getting to know your work.
Yeah, thank you, Imelda.
Well, that's it for today. Until next time, my name is Imelda Gamba. Have yourself a lovely day.
It's here, it's bigger, and it's better. It's the 2015 Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, running under the theme, Stimulating Trade, Seizing Opportunities to Accelerate Growth, from the 28th of April to the 2nd of May. Advertisers, seize this opportunity to grow your business by marketing your products and services via the ZBC platform. For bookings, call Wulaya number 09468352 or Harare number 04443541 or 04498789.
Quarter to 1 is the time right here on SFM. A big thank you there to Imelda Gambe for the program Arts Forum. Macdee do that again next week on Wednesday from 12:15 to 1:45 for yet another program. Well, remember at exactly 1 o'clock we join the Good Afternoon Zimbabwe team with the 30-minute news bulletin.